Oh,
All
gee,
right.
deal talk.
Welcome everybody to another Focus on Fibrenew. My name is Josh Titler, and we're excited to have you here today. Uh, Before we kick things off and have our guests start answering some questions, I just want to go through a brief presentation here. Some of the people on the call know a lot about Fibrenew. Some of the people on the call don't know a lot about Fibrenew. And so we're just going to take you through some basic things here, just to kind of get everybody up to speed. So Fibrenew is a mobile franchise, and if I'm looking over here, it's because the screen I'm presenting off of is over here. Fibrenew is a mobile franchise. You don't need a shop necessarily to do this. You don't have to have a big, expensive vehicle to run this business. It's a very efficient model. You can use any really vehicle, any truck, van, SUV. I've seen Toyota Priuses, I've seen hatchbacks, I've seen them all. And that makes it very inexpensive to operate. Uh, it's also known for its flexibility, right? Fibrenew is a lifestyle business, and it appeals to a lot of different people because you can scale it to the degree that you want to scale it to. And also, one of the things that makes Fibrenew unique is that there's no percentage of sales royalty. Most franchises, if you earn $1, you have to give 6 to 10%, sometimes more, to the home office. And Fibrenew doesn't do it that way. It's a flat rate. And in fact, in the first 6 months, it's $0 per month. After that, it's $795 per month through the end of year two. And then it goes up by 5% per year. And eventually it caps out at just over $1,400. So those are some of the reasons why people love Fibrenew. And it's, again, it makes it unique. Fibrenew is in the business of repairing and restoring leather, plastic, and vinyl. And if you say, well, gosh, how much leather, plastic, and vinyl is there? Leather, plastic, and vinyl is everywhere. And what we do is we do something most people can't do on their own, right? Most people's solution for fixing leather or plastic or vinyl is duct tape. And that's not a solution. So we save people time. We certainly save people money because uh, you know, repairing and restoring is a heck of a lot cheaper than replacement. And if it's important to you, it's also eco-friendly, right? You keep things out of landfills and you help things last longer. So besides the flat rates, royalty, besides the flexibility and the independence, right? This Fibrenew's got a very unique culture. If you're familiar with Franchise Business Review is a huge publication in franchising. Every year they roll out their franchise satisfaction survey results. There's thousands of franchises in North America, and they survey all these franchise owners from all these different brands across North America. And they ask questions about, what's the training like? What's the support like? How's the leadership? Are they ethical? Are they honest? All these questions, all this criteria about the home office. And the franchise owners score their franchise on all these things. And it's all anonymous. And last year, the last survey that came out, Fibrenew was the number 7 franchise for franchise owner satisfaction out of, again, thousands of franchises in America that participated. And I think that's pretty telling. And in fact, one of the most telling statistics was that 96% of the franchise owners said they would recommend owning a Fibrenew to a family or friend. And, if you don't make good money doing what you do, and if you're not part of a good culture, if you're not supported and well taken care of, you're probably not going to recommend that to the people closest to you in your life. So I think that says a lot. And then one of the other things that people really love about Fibrenew is it's probably not going to be replaced by machines anytime soon. Robots are probably not going to be able to do this. It's part science, it's part art. I mentioned earlier, leather, plastic, and vinyl is everywhere, and man, is it everywhere. I mean, and this is just these are some of the markets that we service. And if you think about every place that cuts hair, every place that eats where you can eat food inside, whether it's a bar or a restaurant or a brewery or coffee shop, cafe, whatever it is, right? If you can go work out somewhere, you're sitting on the equipment, that's vinyl, right? Golf courses, it's not just the furniture inside the golf course, right, inside the clubhouse. It's the carts that you sit on. Hotels are loaded with leather, plastic, and vinyl. You see tattoo shops and movie theaters. You look at medical and you see, chiropractors' offices and dentists. You sit in the dentist chair, right? You're sitting on leather or vinyl. You lay down on the table at the chiropractor's office, same thing. They have you hop up on the table at the doctor's office. When those things get ripped and torn, they have to repair that or replace that. Um, you look at automotive and one of our guests was just talking about car lots. Any place that sells used vehicles is a great place to do business with. I mean, you could fix steering wheels, you could fix dashboards or consoles or leather seats. There's a lot of opportunity with automotive. You can fix RVs. A friend of mine just called me and said, "Hey, I've got a tear in my floor in my RV, and the dealership won't fix it. They don't have anybody to fix it. So they said I have to buy a new one. It was going to cost me like 20 grand." And the closest Fibrenew was a couple hours away, but we connected her with the closest Fibrenew, and they really helped out and saved the day there. And you can fix, the seats in buses and train cars and airplanes. I mean, there's just, boats. If you have marinas and people are boating near you, sun does a lot of damage to boat cushions. People who store boats also do a lot of damage to boat cushions. That's easy work for us. And we haven't even talked about residential yet, right? That's all just B2B commercial. You might know people who work at or own or manage places like this that could connect you to do jobs in your local market. So leather, plastic, and vinyl is everywhere. And we've got a couple of experts here to tell you about it today. We've got Joe Keegan and we've got Darrell Fleming. And Darrell, I can see you on my screen. So I'm going to start with you, Darrell. I'm just going to ask you to give everybody the 2-minute Darrell story of, hey, here's who I am. Here's what I was doing prior to Fibrenew. This is what my and this is why I wanted to own a business. If you could start with that, that'd be amazing.
Sure. I mean, obviously, my name's Darrell Fleming. You can see that up on the screen. I have been hands-on maintenance on things my entire life. Out of high school, I went into the Navy, mechanic, electrician in the Navy on support equipment, all the gear they used to pre-flight the airplane. Got out of the Navy, worked in the automotive field for almost 15 years as a mechanic at a Ford dealer. Got tired of that and went into industrial maintenance, basically middle management level at a sand plant and at a glass factory, and just didn't care for it. So here I am in Fibrenew, and it's been a wonderful journey. I did have a brief stint. I did have a Snap-on franchise for a little bit in the early '90s, and
Hmm.
we don't even want to go there because it's nothing like the Fibrenew family. And when you say Fibrenew family, you're not just a business out there on your own. You're getting an entire family when you do that. I can call up the guy two routes away from me or two businesses away from me and say, "Hey, I got this question," and they'll answer it for me. Right, and call the guy right next to me, or I can call Bill up in Palatine and say, "Hey, Bill, I got a big job. You want to work with me on it?" And we work together. So you're not just out there by yourself. It is an absolute family. It is a Fibrenew family.
That's really cool, Darrell. Thank you. Appreciate your service in our military. And Joe, I can see on the screen here. Uh, if you would mind doing the same, give us the 2-minute Joe story.
Yo, oh, 2 minute Joe story. Jeez. I wish it, hopefully it takes longer than that,
It's
but
a difficult bit.
no,
Yeah.
as far as fiber before Fibrenew, I still my wife and I still own an adult gym that we still have. We've had for about 13, 14 years. Before getting into Fibrenew, I was kind of looking for something I could do and kind of in retirement and grow into. Um, for before that, I've pretty much owned different businesses, mostly run the businesses, not necessarily hands-on. Been in fitness a long time. Used to be a director of marketing for a franchise before, different positions like that. I got into Fibrenew kind of out of it's kind of a weird way, just because I was looking at fixing my car for my son, and I was giving him my Prius that I had owned at the time, and I couldn't find anybody. And a friend of mine was, him and I were talking, and he happens to be in franchise development. And I told him, you know what? I said, I would love to find something that I could work with my hands on when I'm in retirement, but also something I could grow with and scale if I wanted to before. And about 2 weeks later, he just called me. He goes, Joe, you were telling me about that your car and fixing a seat and stuff. I found this company, Fibrenew, and I started looking into it. And I will say that I guess I've been here for what? This will be going on to my fifth year now. It's really been great. I mean, I can't say enough about the company being in franchising before and many other franchises, and both on the franchisor side and the franchisee side. They've been great support. Besides making their own product, I've had a great mentor with Scott, who's in tech support, but Jesse's been great, the president. I mean, just everybody. God forbid. I mean, I've even had when I first started. I remember I was doing my first Sauvage, and I was freaking out because I couldn't. Sauvage is tough to do on a piece of furniture, and I mean, I literally had somebody on the phone with me doing FaceTime on the weekend on a Saturday, looking at it while I was doing it. So the support's been really great. I mean, even if you haven't been someone who works with your hands all the time, like myself, I've worked around the house, but not doing this stuff. This is quite a bit different. But that's pretty much my story. It's been great. I've gotten into things I didn't think I was going to get into. Number one, being in the RV business. I have about 5 or 6 RV dealerships that I support, mostly floor work, as well as some of the upholstery work and stuff, but a lot of floor work. Didn't think I'd get into that at all. I didn't even, be honest with you, knew there was even any in my territory. And then there were some outside my territory that I ended up picking up and then changed my territory around. But it's been great. It's been interesting. I enjoyed every day is a little different. You start finding your specialties or things you're good at, and then you get move into other areas. My big push now, although I do residential and a lot of things, I'm really trying to get more and more commercial work. That's what I would like to have, but time will tell. I'm trying to scale little by little. I think this year will be the first year I'll really start as I get into the middle of the year in the second part of the year, I'll probably start looking for somebody part-time or something like that. I feel I'm at a point now where I could support someone. I know at least what I'm doing. So I hope that's enough.
Yeah,
I'd
no,
be more than
I
happy to
appreciate
answer
that.
questions. If people have certain questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
So what I'll do is I'm going to ask you and Darrell some very easy questions, and then what we'll do is we'll go around and I'll let everybody ask one, maybe two questions that are non-numbers related, right? Not sales, not profitability related. So really more operational. And then uh, and then at that point, when we're done with that, we can stop the recording. You guys can stay on and then you can field all kinds of questions for maybe 10, 15 more minutes. But I want to go back to Darrell real quick. Darrell, Joe mentioned he's been in about 5 years. When did you start?
I'm in my 8th year.
8?
Yep, yep.
And tell us about what it looked like in the beginning and what it looks like now. Like in the beginning, did you have any staff in the beginning or did you
No, no.
run it from home?
My wife does all my paperwork, supports me there. She takes care of all the bookwork and paperwork. Thank God for that. But no, in the beginning, I started out with just car dealers because I'm so familiar with the car industry, being a mechanic for 15 years. I knew the language. I could go in and talk to the guys. So, what not a better way to go in and perfect your Fibrenew skill than on used cars. When you when you do a used car, it's gone, it's done. You never see it again. When you are first starting out, obviously you're going to have bumps and bruises and learning curves. So if you do somebody's personal piece of furniture, and in 6 months there's a problem, you're back there and you're back there because you haven't. Not to say you did it wrong, but you haven't perfected your skill yet. So the nice thing about a used car, when it's done, it's done, it's gone, and it's a great way to perfect your skill. You can do all I did for the first 2 years was car lots. I mean, I took a furniture job here or there, but I basically had almost 25 car lots, and I would go around every week and visit each one of those car lots.
Mhm.
And I did a lot of volume of cars my first couple of years.
Great. Gotta get good at it.
Transitioned away from that. I'm doing a lot of medical now. I've got 3 hospitals I do work for. The rehab centers and physical fitness rehab centers are big work for me, and gyms. I've got 7 gyms that I go do work for. So I've transitioned more away from the car lots and it more into the medical field, we'll call it, and airplanes. I got a regional airport. I got a helicopter right now it's an H-44 that I have all the seats out of. That 3 of them I
Oh,
got to
cool.
recover, and the rest of them I'm going to re-die. So
Very cool.
the aircraft industry it's a very lucrative. especially when
Now,
you can get in and do some recover work.
and just to confirm, 8 years ago, did you train in person?
Yep. Went up to Calgary, did the 2 week training in person. I was there the obviously full 2 weeks. My wife came up the second week and she sent in on the admin end of it. And yeah, it was great. And then we went back to Calgary. I think it was 2 years later for the continuing ed they had up there a couple of years later, and we went back up there for that. And then basically we've gone around to Kansas City and Tennessee and places like that down here stateside when they do the continuing ed. So it's Fibrenew is a great business, man.
That's
Your
cool.
margins are we don't talk dollars, but we'll just say the margins are wonderful compared to a normal business. And the staff up in Canada, the staff is wonderful. I mean, I've never made a call up there and not had a return within a couple of hours. Everybody is wonderful about that, and they just go out of your way to help you, make you feel comfortable. So,
That's
but
awesome.
the broad scope of my work is obviously I've got a couch. So I had an employee for a while. Just didn't work out. He just we'll just say his punctuality isn't what I expect. So
Okay.
when I had him on there, when I had him working, we were doing well. We were doing a lot of work. But I got to the point, it's like, is it really worth the headaches and stuff of trying to keep this guy punctual, or do I just want to kind of, I mean, I'm 63 years old. I want to just kind of lay back and cruise and do my thing. So I went away from that. But I do have a small shop. I run a small building because I outgrew. I've got a nice garage here at my home, but I outgrew that. So I rented a small building, and we do well enough to continue our lifestyle and pay for the building and enjoy it. I mean, it's a
That's great.
great business. And free time, you talk about free time, you can have as much free time as you want. Of course, it's going to affect your bottom line on your pay. But if I want to go tomorrow and say, okay, I'm going to leave the next 2 weeks open because I want to go on vacation somewhere, I just do it. I don't have to clear it with nobody but the other boss, my wife.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of traveling since I picked up Fibrenew. We usually go at least twice a year on at least a 2 week camping vacation. I've got a Class A I've purchased since we buy Fibrenew. I got a big 40-foot diesel Class A, and we go at least twice a year for at least 10 days minimum in the Class A camp. And where if you're in a conventional job, you don't get to do that. So Fibrenew has allowed us to continue the lifestyle we had, if not enhance it, and have more free time, a lot more free time.
I love that. And Joe, if I heard you right, you said 5 years. So you were still you when you trained, it was still kind of the COVID times. Did you train in person or did
Was
you do
we
Zoom training?
trained online.
Oh man, tell us about that.
Yeah, it was all online. Yeah, I didn't have any. The only hands-on I had was whatever I did myself, and then Scott helping me out here and there to get acclimated. But yeah, it wasn't any hands-on. I would like to say though, I want to be Darrell because I listen to Darrell's accounts. I love that. That's great. Good for him. That's good, Darrell.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I learned all completely online. And I've gone. I didn't go this year. We had some scheduling conflicts, but I went to we were in what Kansas City, I think it was, Darrell, right? Kansas City, and I forget where else the other one was before that.
Tennessee, we were down in
Tennessee. Yeah, that's
Nashville.
right. Nashville. Yeah.
And then this year was up in Calgary. I didn't make it to this one. We had some other stuff going on, some
Me
other
either.
commitments, but
Yeah,
it
me either.
we didn't have prior commitments. I would have been up Calgary again because I love it up there.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry,
So
Josh. You got questions?
no, so when you started, you had to learn. I mean, now for those who don't know, the Zoom training, there's a class actually happening in Calgary. You're just participating at home, but they ship all the stuff to you, right? And you're doing everything at home,
That's
following along
correct.
with the instructors live. It's not like you're just sitting there on your own time, like, well, I think I'll watch this video today. It's not like that, right?
No, no, they took you through a structure program. It was about 2 weeks, I think we went through structure program. I think it was about 2 weeks. And then you get your hands on. I mean, some of the, everybody's a little different, obviously, the way they come at it. Like Darrell, he was used to the automotive business and he got a lot of reps. I wasn't so enamored with the auto business. I didn't really jump into that quickly. I don't really do too much of it now for auto dealerships, simply because, at least in my area, they don't want to pay that much. And I'd rather go do an RV
Correct.
job that pays me $500 and takes me 40 minutes to do, as opposed to something else.
And
Um,
you are correct there too, not to interrupt, but that's why I've transitioned away from the cars, because no
mm,
matter how loyal to you they are, or you are to them, they'll sell you out for $5.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I found out too.
Yeah,
And
they will.
however, Scott did just exactly what you did, and you got a lot of reps. He got very good at it very quickly.
Yep.
You're probably I'm not that great at color. I've gotten better at color as the years have gone by, but Scott was very good at color, and the faster you are with color, I think the faster the jobs go. The other
Exactly,
stuff is,
exactly. Right.
yeah. Would
So,
you agree? Right?
and that's what the car business did. It taught me to mix by eye the color, so it really brings you into it faster. Because I mean,
Yes.
you learn, okay, a little drop of this or a little drop of that swings it way one way or way the other, and you learn that your main colors are black, white, yellow, gold, and burnt orange, and you can mix most of what you need off of those. Your
Right.
other colors you just use for tinting.
And it's funny because everybody's different. Some people who can be very analytical. I've kind of had to just motor my way through it. It's just for whatever reason. For whatever reason, but it works. It works.
That's
Now,
cool.
I don't mean to take this away from you, Josh, or stuff. I'm going to ask Joey. Have you found that your Fibrenew neighbors are very easy to work with when you need
Oh yeah,
help?
everybody. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been great. Well,
it's
one of the
it's
things we
wonderful.
found out, and I don't, I'll just be open with what I found through the years we working. Um, we've had two other guys, Scott and another one, Daniel. Daniel and I went through training together. So we got to be friends, and he's not that far from us. But after a while, I guess it was after 2 years or so, maybe it was 3 years, we hired an admin, and that made a big difference during that time. And just the sheer, you find this out there, you have your wife, right? It's the
Yep.
throughput, answering calls. People, you get an email, you get a text message, you get a call, you get something online. You got to start managing that while you're doing the business. And that gets
Yep.
tough at times. So when you have
Sometimes.
somebody that can funnel it out to you, your throughput increases greatly. Um, and I've seen that. I even saw that from the year we had Amy working for us to the next year. My revenue dropped. Not considerably, but it did drop simply because I just wasn't getting back to people as fast as I could have.
Yep. Yep.
You found that,
You know,
right?
yeah, that sounds right. Absolutely. If I didn't have my wife here doing it, I'd be paying an admin, because you lose those calls, or you answer it, say, yeah, I'll get back to you, and then you forget to get back to them. That's a job out the door. It's gone.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or you got to ask them for pictures, and the next thing you know,
Yep.
then they'll send you the right pictures, or you see something.
Yep. So
Yeah.
one more, Josh, before we don't mean to take this away from you, but
Oh, you're
we're
doing
taking
great.
it
It's
away.
great. Yeah. This is awesome.
So I've done some, Denver knows I do quite a bit of ride-alongs when you guys ask. And one of my
Mm.
last ride-alongs was Bill Schrack and his son-in-law from
Yeah.
the Madison area.
Yeah.
And they went through the training. They're Fibrenew guys now. Well, they called me up and they wanted to come down to my shop in January and bring a couch down and have me show them how I go through doing a sofa on a repair, as far as, because I do my own sewing. So take it apart, replace a
Mm.
panel, and show them how to dye it, show them how to
Do
savage
you
it.
really? Oh, that's
'Cause
great.
so they hadn't experienced that. So they came down to my shop and we worked for 2 days on this sofa in my shop for them, showing them my techniques on how to do it, and then letting them jump in and try it too. So that's what I mean. You're not on an island by yourself. Fibrenew guys will do that for you. We'll jump in and
I
come on down, bring it to my shop, and we'll help you. You know?
Wholeheartedly. I know the bunch of
Yep.
guys in our area, we get together once a year, and just the little tidbits that you find,
Yeah.
whether it's just how to clean your jars or what somebody else uses just makes a difference and makes it a little more simpler.
Yep. Yep. And
It's
again,
not a hard business. It's just being organized and keeping your word out there. You're only as
yep.
good as your last job. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to be great some days, and you're not going to be great. To me, at least,
That's
I've found to
exactly
be
true.
honest with the people, set expectations correctly. I always tell people, my job's to get things to 80, 90%. Nothing's new except for new. If it looks
Yep.
better than that, they're really happy. And I think I'm very critical on myself. Sometimes I'll sit there and look at it and look at it and look at it. I could work on it for 5 hours, and I
Yep.
bring them over and take
Yep.
a look and they go, wow, that looks great. So
And you're correct. Setting an expectations sets the tone for the whole job. And I always tell my customers, I'm going to guarantee you 80%. I said, so if you're happy with an 80% repair, we can do business. But I will strive to get as close to 100 as I can. I said, we'll never get 100% because it's not new. New is new. But I'm going to get you as close as I can. But I can guarantee you I'll get it to 80%. And so if you set that expectation of it's going to be 80% better, and then come in and it's 95% better, you're a hero. And it never gets tired. It never gets old listening to folks go, wow, that's amazing. How'd you do it? That never gets old.
Right. It's true.
So
like they think you're
correct.
a magician or something, you know?
Yeah.
Do you do
Set that
upholstery work,
expectation
Darrell?
Yes.
Are you doing sewing
sir.
upholstery work with the machine and everything?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bought a
Scott
commercial
does.
machine.
I haven't
do
gotten
my
into
own.
that yet.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, I'm about 80 miles southwest of Chicago, so I'm far enough out of Chicago. I'm not suburban area, and it was really tough to find a sewer out this way. So I got frustrated with driving 50 miles to get to somebody to sew, and I just bought a machine and started. So I bought a really nice Juki machine, and I'll take, like your Ford F-250s, like a 2016 F-250, the leather seat is obsolete now. You can't order it more than 5 years old. The dealers are not required to, the manufacturer's not required to supply parts. I'll pull a seat apart and replace 2 or 3 panels and put it back together, and people are just thrilled with it. Where otherwise you got to go to a cat skin or someplace like that.
Yeah. Now for you people who aren't in this and looking at, that's another skill. To me, that's another skill. Like I haven't taken the time to go and learn that because it is another skill. Like I focus myself now. Like I try to get Scott because Scott does upholstery work. He'll do some things for me, but he's an hour away. But what I do is narrow myself down into things that I can just wrap and tie, like a lot of physical therapy tables, some, dental chairs and things like that. But I'm sorry, but it is a different handle to do. It's something different, a little more. Sorry, I just dropped my.
I'm glad you guys brought this up because I equate it to like you go through the Fibrenew training. That's like getting your bachelor's degree, right? Jumping into upholstery, Darrell, that's like getting your master's. You can if you want to, right?
Yeah, right.
But it's the next step up, and there's some learning and there's some education and some training that goes with it. But I think that's super cool.
I think it's great if you do it and you get to that point,
over the weekend. So I'll like your physical fitness places, like OSF is a big hospital in our area here, and they have the physical rehab places, and they had 8 pieces that had tears in them. Well, when you go through IDPH, which is a state inspection, any tears is a fine. So they want them fixed. They don't care. Well, vinyl, when you can go into vinyl care, if it's nice and soft to the touch, you can do the Fibrenew vinyl care on it. It's a wonderful repair. It's good, quick money. It's great. But you get to the stuff where they've had the cavi wipes on them for years and years. It's like a potato chip hard. You can't really repair that. So I did 8 pieces over the weekend. I just went in on Friday night, took them off. I went down to my shop, turned on the radio, and Saturday I sewed 8 pieces. And let's just say that to sew 8 pieces and put them back on Monday morning pretty much makes my week. I don't have to do anything else this week.
Right. Yeah, because
it broadens what you can do. It opens the doors.
Sir.
I mean, the Fibrenew way gets you in the door, and obviously you do as much Fibrenew repair as you can because that's your best bang for the buck as far as margins and stuff like that. You get in and get out and make your margins and go. But if it's not repairable, if you take on the sewing or you have somebody who can sew for you, that's just another revenue stream out there.
Yes, sir. And I think, I think it's important too for, as I'm sure you found out, obviously, because of the different businesses you do. I found out even with the RV business, not knowing I was ever going to get into it, I got into it, started doing it, got good at it. But it was really busy. When COVID hit, a little bit at the end of COVID, it was still busy, but then it's dried up. So the income levels, I'm not getting as much revenue from them. So you've got to diversify and make sure that you can, keep making money.
Oh. Yep. That's where the
I don't have something to put this on.
That's where the commercial work is so nice because if you can get into a couple of hospitals, I got one hospital in my area, Morris Hospital, small community hospital. But every 2 months I get a call and I'll have 10 or 15 pieces to do. And 10
that's great.
Is equate.
Yeah, I've gotten into one of the hospital systems here, and mostly doing all the physical therapy offices because you can go in there. I can nail them out on a Saturday morning and get 5 or 6 pieces killed out. It's just the only downside for the hospital systems, at least in the ones I'm working with, are there's some of them are 60-day pays. I can't stand that. I don't like to get
Yeah.
paid that long.
The Morris Hospital, small community hospital, it's a 30-day pay. The
Is
big
it?
OSF
Oh, that's
one, it's
good.
a 45-day pay.
Mm.
But you just know that's good money. I mean, it's guaranteed
Yeah,
money. It's not going anywhere. It's there.
yeah, I agree. I
So
agree.
and you can expand out really well on that because a lot of their ER chairs and stuff that they put people in get nicks and tears and stuff in them, and all of that stuff is just Fibrenew vinyl cure.
Yeah, and they
And
don't
even
really care about how great it looks either. If it
they
looks
just need
close,
that sealed up to stop body fluids from entering it, so they don't get fined.
that's right. It's
So if the
true.
color is close, they don't care.
It's
Of
true.
course, I
I
try
do
to
want
make
to
them
get in.
perfect.
I do want to get into air. You try to get into aircraft though, because I do hear that's pretty lucrative. I'm
Yes, it
probably
is.
30 minutes from Philadelphia International Airport. I need
Oh
to
God,
get down there and start
jump in
doing
there,
that.
man. I'll tell you what, you give Bill Bedsole a call at Fibrenew Palatine. He gets into O'Hare Airport, and when he does, a couple times a year, and it's big money.
Really?
So
Oh,
get into them
that's
airports.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. So
Yeah.
you got more questions, Josh?
Guys, I think we're gonna set up a weekly the Darrell and Joe show. You're gonna have your weekly podcast.
Just
I
send the
love
beer
this.
this way.
Uh, Now I am gonna open it up to questions to the group, and I'm gonna start with Freddie, and then I'm gonna go to Chad after that. So Freddie, do you have a question for Joe and or Darrell? You're on mute there, bud. All right, Freddie, hang on to your question. I'll come back to you. We're gonna go to Chad, and then we'll go to Marco.
Okay. When you guys started in your territories, did you buy an existing territory or start a new one? And if you started a new one, how did you do your networking at the beginning?
Darrell, you want to
Sorry,
go first, or
I started in an area that. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll go ahead. I started in an area that had Fibrenew at all. So basically beating on a lot of doors. I mean, go to this dealership, introduce myself, talk to them, talk the language a little bit, go to this dentist office, go to this fitness center. Just anytime I'm driving along, just stop in here, stop in here. Here's a card. Here's what we do. And then within 2 weeks, I'd repeat that route. And and I found out usually after the third time of going in and beating on the door, somebody a chance. And then once they give you a chance and you prove to them, then they'll talk to the next guy and the next guy. So just staying consistent, going back to this dealer, say, okay, I went to this dealer at 9 o'clock. Oh, Monday at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be back at that dealer. I might bring in a dozen donuts and hand to the guys or something like that. And go in and talk to them. And they'll say, oh, we got somebody handling this or we're not interested. I go, that's cool. I just stop by, reminding you that I'm here. I'll stop in again, if you guys don't mind. And they're like, yeah, whatever. Usually about the third time you stopped in, you're getting work. I found that with restaurants. So you stop in with a restaurant, come back in a month or two, talk to the restaurant again. Just don't do it one time. If you hit a place, make sure, like a restaurant, you're not going to go in there every week because they're not going to work every week, but go in there in a month or so, go back, just stay in the back of their mind because when they need something, they're like, oh yeah, that was this guy that did that. So if you've got 5 minutes, say you've got a job scheduled at 9 o'clock and you finish up and you've got 15-minute drive to the next job, but you're going to be early. Well, then stop someplace along the way. Stop at that restaurant. Stop at that dentist office. Stop at that physical fitness center. Stop at that gymnasium. Stop at one of them. Drop off a card. Hey, here, this is who I am, man. You need something, give me a call. Simple as that, because at some point they're going to remember you stopped in and give you a call. So that in-person sales call is how I started, and we built a pretty good.
Yeah, for myself, I was pretty much the same. My Nobody was in my territory, was not an existing territory, Chad. I will say that it was, to me, the most important thing is to get out there. I think a lot of people, I've found that you get work, you're going to get work that you're going to get online work. People are going to fill out things and you're going to get work that way. You're also going to get warranty work where you'll work with some different warranty companies that handle boats or autos or whatever. I did a job today that was a warranty job. So you are going to get stuff, but I would say one of the most important things is to get out there and so-called cold call, get yourself out. And I think I will say that at least what I have found, some people don't like that or they're afraid of that. I think they make it out to being too much. It really is a meet and greet. That's all it is. You sell yourself,
Yep.
you sell your company, you sell what job you're doing. But it's just like what we're doing right here. You're just out there, hi, how you doing? My name is Joe, and you're just talking and trying to help somebody. If you have anything plastic, leather, vinyl, I can fix almost anything in the category. And that's all there is. It's just being personable and being honest and upfront and being,
Just
transparent.
a
At least,
little
I
follow
kind
up
of,
on, go ahead.
well, I'm sorry. I said I kind of attribute a cold call or sales call to being on the phone. Do you like that robot push this button? Do you like this robot push that button? Or would you just rather talk to somebody? So,
yeah.
me personally, I would just rather be there in person and say, this is who I am and what I do, rather than the robot going push one, push two.
Yeah,
We're
be
all human.
authentic.
We still like human interaction. So, be there and answer the questions.
Right. Be authentic with that person. And it makes up a big deal. I get a
Yeah.
lot of, referral business and I get a lot of people call me back simply because, I built some relationship with them.
Um, just a quick follow up on that. Did you guys go out and see all the like national accounts in your territory just to introduce and let them know you're there now?
Not myself. No, I did not.
Okay.
I just hustled
No,
and cold called things. That's all.
yep, I didn't hit any of our national. Well, I won't say I didn't because the list of warranty companies they give you,
Right.
I sent off all the information to them and made phone
Right.
calls there.
Right. That
Was
stuff. Yeah.
actually stopping in one of the national accounts? No, I haven't. No, all just cold call, beating the street.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah,
Same.
good stuff. Thank you. Let's go to Marco, then we're going to go back to Freddie.
Hi, okay. Pretty small question. How much of your market is it in plastic? Do you do exposure or fairs? And is it a good idea to take all couch to practice? Did you understand?
I'm
Yeah, so
sorry.
how
No,
much of the work,
Yeah.
how
it
much of
broke
the
up.
work is
Josh,
plastic?
can you hear that? I can't hear. I
Yeah.
didn't hear that very well.
Yeah,
Okay.
how much of the work is plastic? Do you recommend like taking an old couch and practicing on that, or like stabbing your office chair with some scissors and practicing on that?
Yeah.
I,
Things
I
like
mean, I
that.
think it's like anything. I
And then I
mean, you have
believe
to
there is a
practice.
trade show question as well. Do you do trade shows? Is that right, Marco?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
Are you
show.
French
I
Canadian?
don't do I don't do
Yeah.
trade shows.
Good.
I don't
But
I don't do trade shows. I practiced. I keep practicing as much as I can. When I have
okay.
time, I probably should practice even more. But I don't generally, I don't. Sometimes I'm running by the seat of my pants and I'm just learning. I think you get to the point which I'm sure Darrell said, he's got more experience than I do, but I think you sometimes realize you have this toolkit, it's like being a pitcher, you've got all these different pitches and you don't know you don't know which one you're going to use at what time. It just, hey, I'll use this, I'll use that, I'll use color cure, I'll use something else. It just, you kind of learn how to use the stuff because there's things that can be interchanged in different jobs. So at
Oh,
least I found.
no, no, I'm sure at the first is to practice for be sure for me.
Yeah. To
Yes.
answer your question, is it worth getting an old piece of furniture and working on?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I went to the junkyard and I got a couple of car seats when I first started out, and I'd cut them and fix them and tear them and practice dyeing, practice with the graining pads of different grains. I'd pick up old furniture and I'd go out in my shop and I'd work on it. You know, the only way, what do they say? It takes 10,000 hours to become proficient at something, or whatever,
You
whatever
know,
that saying is.
it's like the
So,
old thing with the Beatles, right? You said
yeah,
that nobody realized how much they practiced before they ever hit the scene, you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
So do that. I mean, I did the same. I mean, I've got a 66 Mustang. It's a beautiful car, but I had one interior panel on that it was for the rear where the ashtray and the door panel and all that stuff goes. And I had an extra one of those. So I took it apart and looked at it and sewed it together. And then I took it apart, cut it apart, laid it out on the vinyl, sewed it together. I must have had that thing apart 3 or 4 times, learning what makes it tick, learning how to sew with it. I did the same with vinyl. You get a piece of vinyl, take a razor blade, 3 or 4 cuts in it, and then vinyl cure it. Then I finally got to the point when I would go to the car dealers, I would cut out about 3 inch tall by about 2 inch wide patch of vinyl. And I took a hole punch, like a 3/4 inch hole punch, and I punched 3 holes in it. One is here's the hole. Two is here's the hole with the mesh in it. Three, here it is with the vinyl cure done to it and dyed back to match, to show them what the process is. And then you say, here, you're a tough guy, go ahead and see if you can tear it, because with our mesh in there over that hole, you can't tear that. So I made samples like that, and I would hand
That's
to the
right.
dealers when I go in there.
I will
So,
say though, in my opinion, like everybody's a little different. It's all coordinated. Like you get some people, I always say like Scott, because I really admire Scott. Scott's guy he did a lot of work like you did, Darrell, but he just jumps into it. Me, I was not like that. I don't like doing something I don't know. And if I don't have enough time to practice, but sometimes you
Me
just have to
either.
get over yourself and you got to get into jobs, and instead of a job that now might take me, takes me an hour to do, an hour and a half, it was taking me 3 hours when I first got started. It's just, you just got to be persistent. I mean, it's not rocket science here. I'm not, you're not setting up a whole system here. You just, there's a process to follow, and then you changes you make within the system, but you just got to be diligent, persistent in your work, and eventually you'll get it. It just takes time. I don't know about you, Darrell, but I think Chad might have told me when Nashville, because I said, how long does it take you to get comfortable? And I think he might have said, like, when you're in year 3, you start feeling a little more comfortable, feeling like every job you go to, you have an idea you're going to get into, what you're going to do. But again,
yeah.
everybody's a little different. You got to know yourself. So,
Yeah, I would think that was probably. I mean, I was pretty comfortable right off the bat because I've been hands on my whole life. Um,
right. Makes sense.
but it just you get to the point where you look at that like, I can fix that in 5 minutes. It's just
Yeah,
where
I
when you
know.
first start out, you're like, can I do that in an hour? And it's like,
I
that's
know,
five
right?
minutes.
Uh, but
So
but I gotta
yeah.
tell you though, it is you got to be light on yourself. I mean, I tell people this all the time. I mean, I go out and I do one job, pays me like $600. It took me, I don't even know if I was there 45 minutes, and I got it done. And then I go out and I
Mhm.
do some job. I had an ottoman to do that was 45 minutes away. I go and do it. It's cold out, it's snow out, it's up in this. All of a sudden, I get there, it's on the second floor. It's a big round ottoman. I'm telling you, everything that could go wrong went wrong. I mean, the color,
Yeah.
then I got the color, the repair. Then I'm spraying the top coat and it's whitening out. My equipment was, I literally, I literally had to take the thing. I was there for what, 2.5, 3 hours. I had to pick it up and take it out of the house and bring it home and work it. So what I make, $400 out of that thing? All
Oh,
right, but
Oh,
it goes like that.
good.
It all evens out. Just be persistent. I
yep.
hope that helps, Marco. I'm sorry.
Okay. We do make mini plastic. The plastic is it all?
I do I do some. I don't do a lot. I don't like
Okay.
there's a lot of dashes. I do some dashes, but not a lot. I'm not a big fan of them. How about you, Darrell?
Yeah. Yeah. Same goes. I don't do a whole lot of plastic. Uh, uh, just because most of the plastic you're exposed to is at the dealership level, and they want to
Oh, okay.
hurry up, get it done as cheap as possible, and you really can't ruch the plastic. I mean,
No, I
you got to
agreed.
take your time,
Agreed.
and it just takes so much more time to do the with the UV rays from the sun beating down on the dashes and stuff. it's going to crack again. It's going to happen again.
Mm.
It's just a matter of will it be 6 months or will it be a month, So I'll do the
Right.
plastic repairs, but I stay away from them as much as possible.
And then you got the crazy Toyota and Lexus crap dashes and stuff like that.
Yeah, which are just, yeah. Yep. Yep. So most of the plastic stuff I venture into is like kick panels that are broke from car accidents and stuff like that. I try to stay away from the dash plastic. The dash vinyl I'll do, no problem. The dash leather repairs I'll do, but the plastic on the dashes I try to stay away from.
Yeah, the dash is not so. I do like the panels on the side and stuff. Like sometimes they just turn out
Correct.
great. I mean, they really turn out
Yep.
great, but
Awesome. Thank you, Marco.
Okay.
Good question. We're going to go to Freddie, and then we're going to go to Ernie.
Hey, good evening, guys. I
Hey,
have
Freddie.
one statement, and then I have two questions. First, let me make my statement. I wish I had known about Fiberview for a while now, because it seemed like every 5 years I've donated furniture, got rid of furniture, and thrown away some furniture. So I appreciate it. So I'm on this call to kind of learn a little bit about it. Just see if this is something that I want to pursue. Also, one of the guys mentioned that he was a former military. I'm retired military. I worked
Well,
on
thank you for your service.
uh,
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, Fred.
appreciate it. I worked on wheel trucks and tanks and stuff like that, and some helicopters. All right,
Wow.
but for my question that I have is, now I know you guys mentioned leather and vinyl. However, I've noticed that some of the furniture they make say leather, but it could be pleather. So
Sure.
I want to kind of know, like, the chemical that you guys use. Would you be able to tell if it's pleather, saying that it's leather, and then because if it's pleather, it may, the chemicals that you guys use, would it uh destroy or deteriorate, the piece of furniture that you may be working on? It doesn't matter whether it's furniture, whether it be furniture or car or whatever. Are you able to really define exactly what it is? And then the last part is, um I know you guys say that you do a lot of cold calling. Have you thought about doing sort of like mail, like junk mail, to
Yeah, we
different
do direct mail. Hmm.
do direct mail to different companies and businesses, and so that it can get into the right hands, and also to the right people. I digress.
Do you
So
want to go, Darrell?
yeah. Well, I'll go with the pleather quote or whatever it is. So he's probably talking about either a bonded leather or a poly over a cloth. And when they start peeling like that, there really ain't much you can do with them. If it's a bonded poly, where it's like the polyurethane or the really thin vinyl over the cloth, if you're very careful, you can vinyl cure that. But it's so easy to blow a hole in that thing and make it go that it almost is not worth your effort because you get in trouble really quick.
Yeah,
Uh,
like RV interiors. Yeah.
Yep, like RV interiors, right? There's just you're almost to where you have to replace the covers or do a sewing panel replace on them because that vinyl on there is so thin and it's so easy to burn through. I played with it a lot with minimal success, and then when you get into the bonded leathers, when they're peeling it, it's time to replace. I won't even attempt to repair on a bonded leather because I know I'm going to be back under a warranty doing it again. So but that's not the majority. I mean, I would say that's probably less than 10% of what you run into out there. I don't know what your experience is on
What,
that.
bonded leather, you mean?
The bonded leather or the
No,
bonded
you
polys that
know,
feel. It's probably less
I
than
think,
10%.
yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I get a lot of crap that comes in, from the web. People look at it, and just kind of, I think that I think I've learned one thing I've learned, especially doing a lot of furniture and residential since I don't judge anyone. You'd be surprised. I get to see people that they bring things that are like 20 years old and they got holes all over them. They want to fix it. And even when I tell them even when I tell them I can't guarantee it, they still want to fix it. It blows my mind. But um,
Yeah.
I think that I think, yeah, you'll see a lot of bonded. And I think that's the biggest problem. A lot of people, they go out and they buy furniture and they go, oh, leather furniture, but they don't know the difference between bonded, die-cast, pleather, if you want to say it, or especially they have no idea about aniline or a full finish and different things like that. Um,
Right.
I think that's to answer one of your questions too, Freddie. I think in the beginning you don't know as much, but as time goes by, you start being able, even just from pictures, distinguishing whether it's an aniline or a semi-aniline or whether it's a full finish. And once you kind of figure that out, then you know what to use and what not to use. You know you can't use a chemical-based top coat on something that's pure leather. You need a water-based top coat or whatever. Um, you just
I,
you
I
just
think
learn.
I think Chad and Bruce do a wonderful job up at training,
I
explaining the
agree.
differences in leather feel, vinyl feel, and like your poly or your die-cast. Because you feel that stuff in an RV furniture, it's really soft. But if you bunch
Yeah.
it up, it wrinkles. Leather don't wrinkle,
Yeah. They
and true
use
vinyl
that's
don't
such
wrinkle.
cheap
So yeah,
crap they use
yeah.
on those things, you
But
know. It
I
really
think
is.
I think Bruce and Chad do a wonderful job of explaining that. So if you've never had any hands-on with it, they'll set you straight. They're good.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
and to
reason.
piggyback what Darrell's saying, you know, there's support. I mean, the guys have been great. I mean, I've been very fortunate. I've had Scott to deal with so much, and he's helped me out. But to piggyback that they're, if you get caught, you pick up the phone, you call, you learn because you start learning things. Like especially just talking about RV, you get RV. You're fixing this polyester vinyl that has all types of designs in it. You really can't recreate it. So, you have to get the color close so you're not, but people, they don't expect it to be perfect. They do expect, but you learn from that and the support's great. So you can kind of work your way through it. I
Well,
do
I'm glad
direct
you.
mail. I will do direct mail as far as like I do the physical therapy. I send out, I'm usually doing every 3 months or 4 months. I'll do direct mails with them, doing postcards with them. There was another question you had, Freddie? Was there
No,
something
I just
else?
wanted to make sure because it's very important. You know, it's just me being in the military, man. Just former military, retire. I believe in just discipline. My mind, my body,
Right,
and then
right.
when I go out, I take on the responsibility and accountability. I come
Yes,
from the
sir.
mindset that hey, you start working on something, you bought it. You break something, you bought it. It's yours. And I just want to, I just want to get set up for failure. Are you able to really identify exactly? Because a lot of these furniture places, man, when you go out and so a lot of the furniture stuff is in the hospitals, is in the different places. I want to make sure that hey, that I can actually repair it. Is this pleather, is this real leather, or is it vinyl? Because if
Yeah, I
it's
got to tell you,
because if it's
you'll
pleather, I
know
don't
so
want to
much
mess
from
with
the
it.
Freddie. You'll just even the doing the hands-on training and getting that. You'll know a lot through that. But I'm telling you, because it's happened to me. If I can't get Scott and I got to get somebody else, they're there to help, man. I can send pictures to them. What do you think this is? And now, after doing it a while, they can spot it. You'll know it in a
Yeah.
heartbeat. You know, it really isn't that big of a deal, in my
It,
opinion.
it, and a second part of that, being afraid to do it or owning it because you're afraid you're going to destroy it, set that expectation up front. Like, look, this is in really bad shape and I may make it worse. Chances are I'm going to make it better, but there's a possibility I could make it worse. And if I make it worse, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Set those expectations up front. Let them know, let them
Yeah,
know up front.
and I did a job the day before. It was a lounge chair, and it was a little Sauvage-y, it was almost like a yellowish gold with a little tint of burnt in it, and stuff. And even me, I've been doing it for a while, but I'm sitting there. The repair went great, but man, I just couldn't get this damn collar. I just couldn't get the collar. And but then all of a sudden you just start working with it, and you pop it out. It
Yeah.
it comes together. It's not that big of a deal, in my opinion. You
No,
got a
it
lot of
does come
support
together.
there.
It does. And I can honestly say, of all the stuff that I've done a lot of jobs in 8 years, and I've had maybe one or two that didn't go well, where it's like, look, where you make it worse. But going into it,
Right.
you say, hey, look, this is really like you get a leather where the top dermis layer is peeling off of the leather, and you just tell them, it's like, we really shouldn't repair this, but this is what I'll do. And if it fails down the road, I mean, then it's going to have to be recovered. So
Yeah, and you know what, Fred, after a while too, you start, your personality and reading people start getting there. I mean, I will tell you, there's sometimes I talk to people, I just know they're so anal, and you have to set the expectations. I mean, I did a warranty job today for what was it, Zurich. I did a warranty job. This guy's crazy. I mean, he bought a Mercedes. I get it. He's got an 80,000 GLC. He had some dye transfer on it. I'm telling you, you could just about see it. I've had to go there twice and clean it, and I had to tell him coloring this is like overkill. It's just going to overkill. But he was driving everybody nuts over it. So you learn to read people and you start trying to set expectations as you go through it. It works out. I hope that answered all your questions.
Awesome.
Well,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
We're going to go to Ernie, and then Taylor's going to bring us home after that.
The more I keep listening to the Joe and Darrell show, my questions just keep getting answered. You guys are more like a podcast than a Q&A. So,
hey, let's look up Joe.
no, it's good. It's great material. It's great material.
Thank you, Darrell.
My questions were more, and again, I think Joe was really alluding to a lot of it, not being as maybe hands-on past or as used to doing more hands-on stuff in the past as Darrell was. So I kind of relate more to Joe. If I jumping into something like this, how do you learn? What am I looking at? The techniques, that it seems like Joe really, I guess it's a testament to the training, I guess, that you receive. I mean, because what
It is, and I think you also, you put your time in, and
Yeah.
I think it's something for Eddie too. I think having part of that mentality, and I think Chad said it, or maybe who else was, but they said you're only as good as your last job. So you take pride in your job, you do the best job. Your best isn't going to be the same every day, but you do the best job. You be authentic with the people, and you set expectations right, and you just got to take it that way. I think sometimes it's the person, and you just have to work through it, and don't sit there and throw your hands up if you can't get it. You just keep working. You agree with that, Darrell?
Yeah, and he's going to go through a ride day like everybody else, and he's going to see a lot of stuff. And then if he
Right.
continues on and goes through training, when he comes back out, call one of your Fibrenew neighbors and hop on and go for a ride with them for the day, because you'll have a better idea after training of how things are done, and go with them and see how they do it and jump in and work with them. I've had, other than Bill, I've had Bill Schrack, the guys I just with the couch. I've had 3 other Fibrenew guys ride with me after they've come out of training, just spend a day with me, because they understand more after training what to do. And I don't care. Anybody can ride with me any day of the week. Jump in and let's go, man. But lay on your neighbors, man. Just pick their brains. I mean, like I said, you're not going out on an island on yourself. I've not found one Fibrenew person out there that's not receptive to a phone call or help. You know what I mean? So just rely on your neighbors. Say, hey, I'm new at this here. Could I ride along with you and help you for the day and learn some of your tactics? That's going to pay back volumes to you if you do that once or twice.
I like that podcast idea. That I like it. It's like Darrell and Joe, 60, sexy, and Fibrenew.
That's exactly right.
the DJ
You could be the sexy part, Darrell.
Hey, thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. I need a little boost of courage there. Ego needs it,
No, I appreciate you guys taking my question. Again, I got a lot of it was going into a business like this. I mean, unless you're planning to set it up right out of the gate with technicians and all that, I'd be, obviously I think a lot of you guys are looking at the same thing. I would be, out in the field and doing it. So I guess it would be learning the craft, learning the product. But it sounds like the support, not only from the Fibrenew training, but even outside of that, you guys can attest that it's a pretty good support network system that you do get in this
It
class.
is, and I would say, Ernie, I would also say that it's not like it can't be done the other way. You could set yourself. It's just a matter of how much capital you want to use and how you want to grow the business. There's some guys. I'm pretty sure I know a few guys I've talked to that they've started right off. They hired, they bought other businesses, and they've they've scaled very quickly. You know, that wasn't the way I was doing it, but it can be done that way too.
Yeah, maybe down the road, but definitely not at first. So it's good to know that the support system and at least the initial training though is there, and you guys can attest for that. Sounds you speak highly of it. Thank you.
Good stuff. Good question, Ernie. All right, Taylor, no pressure. The
No,
best
I just
questions
wanted
for
to say
last.
I really appreciate all the information. It's been great. Couple questions. What's the hardest part of the job for you individually? And then Darrell, on your doing upholstery stuff, where do you source the fabrics and materials?
God, yeah.
Fibrenew has great resources out there. Yeah, they'll give you a list of vendors out there, and like Keyston Brothers, they're in my territory, so I go there at least once a month to Keyston pick up supplies. But they know other vendors who do the same thing. And if you can't say you go to Keyston and they don't have it, or you go to Birch Fabrics and they don't have it, or you go to uh, Momentum Fabrics they don't have it, you just ask your salesperson at that store, hey, you guys don't handle this. Who do you think might? They'll have a line on it because these guys all go to conventions and they know who has what. So they're working together with their people like we work here with our people. They know who handles what fabrics. Just talk to them. They'll tell you.
Yeah,
Most
I use Spirit. I
Okay.
use United Fabrics. It's close by to me. They give me better prices than the other place. So there's a lot of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of vendors out there with the material we need, and Fibrenew has a huge list of them that they're partners with, where we get deals on them, and just lay on down and say, hey, I need this stratosphere metallic stuff. You guys don't handle it. Who do you think does? Well, the guy said, well, check with Birch. So you call up Birch and talk to their rep. Well, we don't handle it, but Momentum's got it. Or if you're doing a lot of medical, a lot of your medical vinyls are floral and stuff like that. Momentum Fabrics handles that.
Yeah, foam, all that stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they'll tell you, they'll work with you and they'll help you out. You're not just stuck out there. Where do I get this at?
Okay.
Absolutely
That was
agree.
that was my other question was, do you guys do the foam replacement in seats and things like that?
Yeah, some. Yeah,
Okay.
myself, some of it. Yeah, some of it.
Yep. So automotive is very easy. You can get about any automotive foam aftermarket out there. You just go on the web and you can type them in, or there's some places in Texas that Fibrenew will give you the names of, like the Seat Shop and stuff like that. And they'll either have that foam or they'll tell you who has that foam for replacement for automotive. I do a lot of foam repairs on automotive because it's so easy to repair.
We do. Yeah, I don't do too much of that.
Yeah, so you cut that open, cut it out, glue it in, take a knife and sculpt it and sand it. And I mean, it's actually pretty easy to repair. But furniture foam, all your vendors like Keyston Brothers or Momentum Fabrics or Birch Fabrics, they all handle the foam, and you can order the foam and just pull out what's there and basically trace the pattern and put it back in. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Taylor, to answer the other question as far as hard, to me, color was very hard for me. Some people were just very easy, but color was the hardest thing for me. I still struggle with it at times, but you get it. It's just more you do it, but that was hard.
Yep.
Okay.
What's with all the trees behind you, Taylor? Huh? Don't you have any snow there?
Yeah.
Not much.
No,
That looks
really?
like-
Where are you?
No. North
Where are
Idaho.
you? Idaho. Okay. Jeez.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been wet, but not much snow.
That looks like it
Really?
needs a spot pushed off with a dozer. I parked my camper up there and watched it work. It's been gone.
It made me feel that way too.
Well, guys, thank you for the good questions. I'm gonna stop the recording here, but Darrell and Joe, thank you so much. Hang tight.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hang tight for just 1 second here.